Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I am Elise, translator, editor, and writer with 20 working languages, and this is where we talk about languages and language learning and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games. Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital.
還元一級の先というのは、本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は。Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this, meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is squad, and that also means elephant. C'est ça, che c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça. Sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco. Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyperpolyglotting avec Élise. Moi, c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça, c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux. Surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique et de l'acquisition des langues. 10:159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Night. Come on. Yeah. Yo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Barbaz, okay, Barbaz is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon. Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. Sotto 4 grossi sassi, 4 grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Facile. Sì, ecco, la gente... è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo. Io sempre avevo sentito, avevo l'impressione. Hello and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. Sorry for the delay. Today involved going out and getting some apples for various pies that are going to be made in the next couple of months. And so I am only just getting back. I've noticed, actually, people only really start to show up a little bit after 5 anyway, so maybe it's a better time to do it in general. Anyway, we're going to be speed running some chess.com bots and talking languages and stuff. Spiel gegen Bots. Okay. Let's do... Okay, we're gonna speed run the Moo the Hippo. Ich spiele mit, was auch immer. Wait, no, that's not what I was trying to do. Hang on, yes, no, Moo the Hippo, damn it. There we go. Let's see how fast. This is the easy bot. Let's see how fast we can get through this one. Start out with a little bit of English action. Okay. What even is this opening? So what we have here is a very clear edge in development. A lot of moving the same piece over and over again, which is a great way to waste any time that you might have, especially when you're playing black. You absolutely want to move the same piece over and over again, because that way you have no chance of equalizing. Okay. Free knight. Don't mind if I do. Sorry. Okay, so... Oh, hey, that was a free bishop. It isn't now. It is again. There we go. A free bishop and a nice open file for the rook. And I can just get rid of my doubled pawns even. That queen. See, what would be a move here would be for the queen to come down and... Well, no, you wouldn't do that with the queen. That's backwards. No, that's not a move at all. That's rubbish, that is. Okay. So... Well, that's... why we like the basic bots. Let's see how fast we can get this to checkmate. These pawns are kind of annoying. Wait, you're just gonna give me that? Okay. Thank you, Mudung. Okay, bring my knight into the attack. Bring the other knight into the attack, and there we go. And 74-2. Okay, now we're on medium moo. Oh, hang on. Free knight. Okay. So again, with lots of pawn action. Oh, and the king just, for no good reason. Bringing the king out really early. It's an early endgame. Well, I mean, I am up material. Might as well just keep trading. Oh, it's double check, so like... Okay, that works. Thank you for your cooperation. Okay, how do we wrap this one up? Another nice little discovery. And... Okay, that's Moo 2. Beaten. Let me see, how did I do there? 87.9. Not bad. Ah. It says my rating for this game was 1800. Well, it helps when... It really does help when you are playing against somebody who does not make kind of any good moves, really. Okay, but now we get to the real challenge. Angry Moo. Let's see how I do here. Okay, that is mildly annoying. That is mildly to moderately annoying. Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did. See, I was gonna just take this knight here, since it's undefended. But now if I take that knight, then I get checkmated. Ooh. That. What do we do about that? Oh, there we go. That's what we do about that. Okay. Yes. Because that would be discovered check, and that would screw me up completely. Yeah, I gotta move that king. Yeah. Definitely better. To get that queen out of the game is that queen was looking dangerous, and my king was definitely not as safe as it could have been. And now I've got a nice little open file for my rook. My position looks like shit. Let's be clear. That's, yeah. That is an ugly little position. Yeah, saw that coming. Yeah, I can't double up quite like that. So instead, gonna try something else. Oh, yeah. This is me getting my ass kicked, I think. Angry Moo is up fully. How the hell did I not see that? That wasn't good. Okay. So, the bishop pair and a rook and a bunch more pawns, and I've got a bishop and 3 pawns. Yeah. I have definitely been in better positions than this. Like, recently even. See if I can get some kind of initiative or something going. Hello, River Rune. How you doing? That was picky doof. Yeah, that could have been better. Have I got a perpetual here? Is that what's going on? No. Okay. 0 blunders. Wait, there was a missed win? Ein verpasster Sieg? Ja, okay, das will ich mal sehen. Okay, at one point... Wow, I was actually winning. So, what was I supposed to do there? Okay. It's always good to have creatures for that. Oh, I see. Yeah, of course, because then... Oh, well, I went to get apples for pies and things, which was nice. It was a very nice drive, and there was a lovely cat there. Very friendly cat walking amongst the apples. That was enjoyable. I needed to get out a little bit. Okay, this is Ollie Richards, somebody who has fairly sound ideas about language learning methods and stuff like that. And this is going to be the top 10 fastest spoken languages in the world, apparently.
Fast you talk. Well, it turns out it's different depending on the language that you're speaking. Some languages are really slow, while others
are so fast you feel like you're trying to keep up
with a Formula One driver.
Ready the question situation you which challenge you and avoid the cannibals just indicated by the participant.
Well, in this video I'm going to take you on a tour of the fastest spoken languages in the world. If you've never tried learning another language but felt a little bit lost to keep up with native speakers, well, this video is going to help, because I'll also show you how understanding language speed can actually help you become a better, more confident language learner.
促进员工担任我们的大使，但是同时也维持他们身心灵的健康。这样。
对，我这帮他翻译一下。比如说 ambassador 的allowance。
Mandarin Chinese is the most spoken language in the world, with over 8 billion speakers, and when you first listen it might seem quite slow, but don't be fooled, it's like cramming a novel into a postcard.
Well, yeah, oh, okay. Yes, of course that's going to be a fast language, because a lot of the words are a single syllable. So you can, in that sense, if you can communicate an entire concept in one syllable rather than in some languages 4 or 5, that, yeah, you're definitely going to have a fairly...
What? And it's all about how much information is in one single syllable or one single sound. See, it turns out we humans have a pretty amazing knack for getting our point across, fast or slow. But first, should we see how they do the measuring? Researchers from universities in Lyon and Hong Kong figured out how fast people speak by counting what's called syllables per second. That's
okay, so we are using a measure that is going to be consistent in different languages. So I was going to say, I mean, if you're talking about like words, concepts per second, then a language that has shorter words is probably going to come out faster. So this is syllables per second.
You can say in 1 second. Now, some languages pack more syllables into less time, but get this, your brain has one goal: communicate efficiently, no matter the language. In some languages, that's 5 words. In others, it's 25, but it all evens out in the end. And as you're about to see, there's some crazy trade-off going on.
The average 20-year-old knows between 27,000 and 52,000 different words spoken out loud. Most of these words last less than a second.
See, it's not just about speed, and Mandarin's a great example.
Okay,
see, Mandarin averages
annoying,
5.18 syllables per second, which is on the slow side, believe it or not, but it crams a ton of meaning into each syllable. Check this out. See what I mean? Just one syllable, one sound really packs a punch, because also you've got tones, and Mandarin's tones, where the sound goes up or down or stays the same, it instantly changes the meaning. So it's not just about the number of words, it's about the amount of information that's being packed in. Now, of course, it also depends on how fast someone is speaking or not.
I am doing
this has got my knights all turned around in a weird little way, but
as I can.
Okay, that could get annoying, but Mandarin is proof that speed is not everything. It's what you can squeeze into each sound. But don't get too comfortable, because we are just getting started over here. I'm Ollie Richards, by the way. I'm a linguist and an author, and it's my job to study languages so that I know how to help you in those very difficult early stages of a language where everything sounds a little bit like mumbo jumbo. Try this on for size.
Thưa quý vị và các bạn, Nam Bộ đang trải qua một đợt ngập lụt chưa từng có trong lịch sử.
Rồi, sao xin chào cô chú đi sao? Xin chào cô chú, xin chào chú.
Yeah, I mean, Vietnamese is another example of where the words tend to be like single syllables unless they're compound words, and then you can get, but I mean, you're going to be able to cram a lot more information into that because of it.
There's this really fascinating theory that our brains perceive a difference between machine gun rhythmed language and Morse code rhythmed language. Yeah, that's actually what they called it. And Vietnamese definitely falls into the machine gun category. It's fast and relentless, especially
very
its
staccato.
6 tones.
Ooh, Free Queen, thank you. Martin is always very nice about giving you free material.
Some people crank it up to 6.
Tôi tên là Sơn, tôi là một người truyền giáo hội các tín hữu ngày sau của Chúa Giêsu Kitô, và mục đích của tôi là chia sẻ về Chúa Giêsu Kitô vì tôi biết là Chúa Giêsu Kitô đang sống.
This is what you might be taught at school.
Xin chào, dạo này bạn thế nào?
But this is what you will encounter in real life.
I actually understood a bit of that. I have some Vietnamese, but not much.
I just love listening to Vietnamese conversations. If you've ever wandered around a street market in Ho Chi Minh City, you'll know exactly what I mean.
Con người chứ có phải con tỳ hưu đâu mà ăn không chịu nhả ra.
Bác bỏ ngay vào đi nhá, cháu lấy đúng một gói rồi đấy.
Bác lỡ bê ra đây mình lấy cho các bác.
Không, một là một thôi, bác bỏ ngay vào đây.
Those sellers can fire off their chit-chat at breakneck speed, but you have not seen impressive
free rook too.
Bad, really bad. You know I'm bad. You know, bad, really bad. You know I'm bad. Come on, you know, bad, really bad.
To be or not to be, that is the question whether it is noble in the mind to suffer the sins and hours of religious fortune, to consequence, to see of troubles and by posing in them, to die, to sleep, pretend to dream, you get the idea.
Surprise! Well, I wasn't going to include English, but how could I not when we have the FedEx guy? I just wanted to ask him how on earth he even does this. If you have 5 seconds to spare.
So I went home and I started flipping through the book and decided I wasn't going to eat a car, swallow lead pipes. So the next best thing was to lock myself in a room and teach myself how to do the fast talking.
Did you catch that? Well, if you're not a native English speaker, I promise this is not how we speak when you're not looking. Or is it? Truth is, English isn't exactly known for its speed, but don't underestimate it. Try spending a week somewhere like New York. You meet people who can switch gears like bad weather rolling in.
Being from New York, I think people automatically talk a lot faster to start off with. I mean, you can talk as fast as you want in New York and nobody even blinks an eye.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the big divisions in like North American speech, and like U.S. English in particular, is that the speech slows down the farther south you go.
Let's not forget Texas.
Unless you're an auctioneer. Yes, auctioneers are sort of the exception
Don't
there.
worry. Exactly none of us know what he just said. So, what's going on? Does English deserve a spot near the top, or is it just pretending to be faster than it really is? Let's check the magic speedometer. 6.19 syllables per second.
I mean, really, auctioneers aren't a fair comparator, because that's all the auctioneers always speak fast, especially like agricultural auctioneers for whatever reason.
It's tricky though, because English has what's called stress-timed rhythm. Now, what is that? Do you remember that Morse code style that I mentioned? See, this is the pauses that make it feel slower than it actually is. And FedEx guy, well, we clocked him at 14.65 syllables per second, which is absolutely insane, of course. And if you're here because you're still learning English, for goodness sake, please remember to breathe.
ज्याचा के सिंगर आहे बट तेव्हा इंटरनेट वगैरे नव्हतं किंवा ते कसं सर्च करायचं माहिती काढायचं ते माहित नव्हतं बट ते गाणं मला इतकं आवडलेलं ना.
Now we are picking up speed. What language makes you think of lively and chaotic markets with amazing colours everywhere you look? Hindi hits 6.55 syllables per second. And it sounds fast because maybe it needs to be. India's streets are incredibly vibrant and it's a fast-paced life. If you aren't sure what Hindi is, well, it's one of the official languages of India and more than 600 million people speak it in cities like Mumbai and Delhi.
15,000 की शॉपिंग करके आए ये? पापा कहाँ महंगी है? 1100 रुपए की जीन पैंट महंगी नहीं है? हमारे टाइम पे हम 20 रुपए की पैंट पहनते थे. कभी-कभी तो पड़ोसी से मांग ली, बड़े भाई से मांग ली.
Something about hour something or
ज़माना बदल गया है.
You decide to learn Hindi. Well, one thing that works in your favour is it has lovely, clear vowels and consonants. There's only
Hindi. I love speaking Hindi. I don't speak Hindi very well. But it's fun to speak. It has great sounds.
One way to say each vowel, A-E-I-O-U. So you can skip through sentences without sacrificing meaning. And Hindi is interesting because each syllable takes roughly the same amount of time to pronounce. It's not like English. By the way, the reading speed of a language isn't necessarily going to match natural speaking speed. That's a different thing altogether.
Speech comprehension is different from reading comprehension, but it's similar to sign language comprehension.
These science guys know them. They say that while we can talk quickly, our eyes need more time to scan and process words that we read. So your brain is very busy taking in all the things. It's got the size of the fonts, the contrast of the text, and your eyes are also deciding if they can even see the words or not. So reading takes longer to process, which is great. If you ask me, something more chilled you can do if you're learning a language. I mean, I've definitely made this reading thing work for me. I even teach languages this way using stories, and I call it story learning. People really seem to like it. We have tens of thousands of happy students who enjoy learning languages through stories. I came up with this idea when I realized that stories are the most natural way to learn and remember pretty much anything.
I've never used his particular course, but it is definitely
English,
the sort of
Hindi,
method
whatever.
that I use.
It's going to stick in your head if you learn the language in a story. And the truth is that story learning is where real language learning begins. If you want to know just how this works, well, you can scan the QR code in the description up there or click the link in the description. I've made you a little fun pack that shows you how it all works. It's completely free, so go grab yours and start having fun with languages.
Okay, that's Wayne done. Here, let me drop the link to the video into chat. This is Ollie Richards. He has, for one thing, he has the story learning course, which I've not used, but the method is definitely totally sound. Oh, you rescued a kitten off the road. Aw. This was a black cat with, like, white sort of chest area. And just very sociable, very interested in what everybody was doing. Just walking amongst the apples.
Aciliyetimizin sebebi bu. Bu yüzden bu yılki araştırmamızın önceliği...
Is this Turkish? That's a funny one. Well, Turkish might not seem like an obvious...
I actually did not... I did not recognize that as Turkish, in fact.
Choice for speed, especially if you've never watched a Turkish movie, and you really should.
Biri diğerinin 3 katı olan 2 daire var bu soruda ve bunu kimse doğru cevaplayamadı.
It's not even a very hard language to learn, but it's tough to...
Yeah, I mean, Turkish... The nice thing about Turkish, I don't speak it like properly, but I know some. I have some understanding of it. I can kind of get by in a fairly elementary conversation. And the nice thing about it, and the Turkic languages in general, is the way it functions is quite consistent and reliable. It's a very predictable sort of language once you understand how it works, which is agglutination. You just plug in all sorts of infixes and prefixes and suffixes to get all sorts of additional levels of meaning and stuff.
Use in real life, and that's because of how a conversation will go when you're speaking with a native Turkish speaker. And you hang out with them enough, you realize that Turks like to speak all at once, and when they do it at 6.87 syllables per second, you might get dizzy trying to keep up. 6.87. You just wait until we hit number 1. But here's the fun part. See, in Turkish, the action word or the verb comes right at the end of the sentence.
Yes,
so whatever the person is saying, you are left hanging until right at the end of the sentence to find out what's actually going on. Like, what's actually happening here? Say you're listening to a guy telling this story and all you're hearing is ship and captain and storm. Meanwhile, he's telling you that a whole crew just got rescued. See where I'm going here? There's a big difference. And all that tension waiting for the punchline can make Turkish feel like you're a little bit out of breath. Turkish also likes to stack small words together.
Yeah.
To make...
See, gözlerinizdeki ışığı seviyorum. So, göz is eye. Ler is plural, so eyes. Gözleriniz is your, as in you plural or you respectful. Gözlerinizde, in your eyes. Gözlerinizdeki is sort of like, it kind of creates an adjective. It makes in into a modifier. So then gözlerinizdeki ışığı, ış is or ışık is light. So ışığı, gözlerinizdeki ışığı, the light that is in your eyes. Seviyorum, I love or like. So gözlerinizdeki ışığı seviyorum. See, I mean, all of these things are actually, once you start to understand each of these little suffixes and infixes and things like that, then, and there are a million of them, Turkish becomes very easy to work with.
Big ones, like German, but way more complicated. They're saying a whole sentence and you think they are still on the...
Gidemeyecekmişsiniz. Gidemeyecekmişsiniz. Okay. Gitmek is to go. Gidememek, to not go. That me turns it into a negation. So gidememek, to not go. Gidemeyecek, somebody, it makes it future. So wait a second. Okay, this isn't quite right. It isn't apparently, on the subtitle it says apparently you won't be able to go. This is apparently you won't go. And the way we get that is this mish here. Gidemeyecekmiş. That mish means you're relaying information that you don't necessarily, that you can't independently vouch for. Gidemeyecekmiş. They apparently aren't going to go. Siniz at the end makes it you, plural or respectful. So gidemeyecekmişsiniz, you apparently won't be able to go, or I've heard you won't be able to go.
The first word. Now, throw this in the pot. Turks use a ton of fancy idioms and expressions that don't follow logic, and people are always making up new ones.
Well, they follow logic, they just don't necessarily follow the logic you're expecting.
This seem faster than it is. But don't let this put you off. You can totally get the hang of a language like Turkish as long as you focus on some of the fancy sayings and the big words, because once you know what to expect, what happens is the language will start to slow down in your brain because you aren't used to it. But there is no slowing...
Yeah, this is true. You can actually start to notice this. Because the reason a language sounds fast as opposed to being fast in terms of syllables per minute is that you're sort of timing it from bit you understand to next bit you understand. And the fewer things you understand, the faster all the stuff you don't understand seems. So the more things you do understand, the slower it seems to be, even though they're speaking at the same speed.
Down at all on the next one.
Tiver alienígena, não invada agora não, deixa eu só editar e postar. Vai voltando. Eu ganhei em Londres, perdi na Irlanda, quando eu ia começar a gingar, ai.
Você tá pensando ali, organizando seu pensamento em palavras e a fala não consegue acompanhar. Já teve essa percepção?
Portuguese is like speaking to the beat of a song, and when I was living in Brazil, I really didn't care.
It depends. Like Brazilian Portuguese has that sort of rhythm. The Portuguese, like European Portuguese, has a different feeling to it, in my experience.
People spoke fast. I just got so swept up in the beautiful sounds and rhythms.
Yeah,
Samba,
it is
bossa
quite
nova,
pretty.
axé. I swear you feel this beat in the language, and this is part of what helped me get fluent in Portuguese. Portuguese is known for being very expressive, and it speeds through at 6.88 syllables per second. So you see, you can be expressive, but also fast.
Já vi dois computadores, já botei lá em cima já.
But there is Brazil, there's Portugal, there's Angola, there's all these different places and varieties of Portuguese. So who speaks the fastest? Is there a difference? Well, Brazil has a reputation for seeming faster, especially in places like Rio and Sao Paulo. Funny thing is, that's just a perception. When they measured speaking speeds, it worked out to be more or less the same in Portugal and Brazil. You see, in Portugal, native speakers, for me, are actually a lot harder to follow because they cut off their vowels. So even though in Brazil it's all rhythm, in Portugal can lay a strong claim to having the fastest speakers. You see, it's not just about the speed, it's also about the clarity of the sounds you're making.
Acabam com pessoas aos gritos e famílias a desmoronar-se perante revelações de segredos dramáticos há muito enterrados.
Seriously, where did his vowels go? But whatever you do, never ever ask people to speak more slowly, because one of the universal rules of human beings and language learning is that if you go to someone and say, "Can you speak more slowly, please?" they will just repeat it back to you at exactly the same speed, maybe even faster.
I don't know about that. I don't feel like that's been my experience. I don't say that often. But yeah, I'm not sure about that. Now I'm gonna have to do that more often and just see. But I mean, part of what does happen is if you're asking somebody to speak more slowly, because you are not yet quite up to speed with the language itself, then it will still seem faster than it is. Stiamo parlando dell'italiano.
Italian sounds like lots of short bursts of words, and if you listen to native Italians speaking on the radio or a podcast,
there we go, that's
wondering what this one insanely long word is that they're saying. But I promise you they're actually saying lots of different words, they really are.
Di guardare un film in italiano non lo capiremo. Sarà sempre così.
What she said. So how fast is it? We are talking 6.99 syllables per second. That's basically 7. But you should hear the southern dialects. Wow, some Italians have been recorded speaking.
Yeah, and one thing about it is a lot of what is sometimes called dialect in Italian. Yeah, well, first of all, the term dialect you always have to be careful with, because linguistically speaking, it doesn't really exist. Dialects and languages, it's the same thing. The things that make something a distinguishable dialect also are the same things that would make something a distinguishable language. And Italy is a multilingual society, and in the South, well, I mean, there are all sorts of different variations. It's like Italian sub-languages, and they are definitely not all mutually intelligible.
Naturally at 9 syllables per second. Germans only give 5 point something, so let that sink in for a second.
Perlomeno finché la prima rivoluzione industriale non portò a un'invenzione rivoluzionaria, per l'appunto, che nella storia del cioccolato ha la stessa valenza della scoperta del fuoco per l'essere umano.
Well, I don't know about you, but even to me, at that breakneck pace, Italian, well, it still sounds like music to my ears, to be honest.
See, and the funny thing is, yeah, I guess that sounds fast, but if you know Italian, it doesn't. Not really, because part of learning a language is you gotta get used to the rhythm of the language. And when you're used to the rhythm of the language, I mean, unless somebody is speaking abnormally fast for that language, then you understand it just fine.
Then it's just normal speed. All the vowels, pronunciation is very predictable and regular.
Oh, another free bishop.
The rhythm is even more dramatic than Portuguese. And yes, the hands, well, they're all part of the conversation on the Italian is a full body language, hands, tone, and syllables.
The fastest gesticulators turn out to be the Greeks, according to at least one study I've seen.
La differenza tra attivo e passivo è proprio questo fatto di concentrarsi sull'attività.
Oh yeah, I know this guy, yeah, Italiano Automatico. We've looked at this guy on stream. He's got very good stuff, very good sort of comprehensible input for like your beginner and intermediate learners. Let me drop that name in the link. I don't have the link for the channel, but Italiano Automatico. Definitely worth checking out if you're looking for something relatively easy, but in an Italian spoken naturally and at a natural speed.
State facendo quello per fare progressi più rapidi con l'italiano.
What could possibly be faster than Italian? Well, I'm glad you asked.
I got things.
Okay, I'm not being fair. Rappers don't count, but ever tried to
understand? Rappers and auctioneers, that's an entirely different category.
Understanding native French speakers in, say, Paris.
Tu parles français? Oui, bien sûr. Ah ouais? Trop lourd. Du coup, je voulais dire, est-ce que tu pourrais me passer une clope parce que ça fait 15 minutes que j'ai pas filmé, je suis en train de devenir ouf sans ma nicotine.
See, and one of the reasons French sounds fast is that French actually omits a lot of vowels. It omits especially unstressed that just becomes nothing. So you have to get used to that, and you can get a lot more. And a lot of things that look like they should be like 2 or 3 syllables, judging from the spelling, because of this unstressed that just disappears, they end up being like 1 or 2 syllables. And so it sounds way faster than it looks like it ought to when you read it.
Franchement, les gars, vous abusez, hein. Arrêtez de manger vos mots. Articulez un peu.
Well, it looks like the challenge is on. French averages 7.18 syllables per second, depending on the variety. See, French has a lot of different varieties.
Yeah, like Québécois is slower and has a rhythm that is a little bit closer to like North American English.
Allez monter dans un ascenseur, même si maintenant tu me dis ça me paraît logique. Ouais, bah de claustro tout court en fait. Mais surtout que là on monte à 5 dans l'ascenseur, genre
5,5.
As you've probably guessed if you've been paying any kind of attention, there's more to it than speed. You might have heard that the French have a reputation for being sophisticated. Well, this kind of thing rubs off on the way they speak, and it's very important to them to sound articulate, especially when they're speaking to each other. It's part of the culture. As for the rest of us, well,
I mean, I feel like that's kind of part of the culture in a lot of languages too, that people want to sound articulate. I mean, I think it's probably partially a class thing going on there, but
Le mec œuvre en France depuis près de 40 ans et il a réussi à berner aussi bien des élus que les forces de l'ordre, que même des villes, ou plutôt une ville tout entière.
And if you look at the bottom right corner of these, you get the names of these channels. That was apparently Squeezie.
French, even a simple word like please turns into s'il vous plaît. And in French, a lot of letters don't even get pronounced, right?
Yeah, and then in addition to the ones that are like silent, you have the ones that just get sort of swallowed. So like s'il vous plaît can become s'il vous plaît.
As you can see, so here's the interesting part. French has an absolute ton of something called elisions. Now, elisions are the way that speakers blend their words together smoothly when they speak. So, like instead of saying
does tons of that.
You say l'homme. You blend them together, right? You hear that? It makes faster, more fluid sound. And French is a master at that.
Mais cette intuition est-elle vraiment basée sur des éléments factuels? Dans cet épisode, j'aimerais vous offrir une idée assez contre-intuitive, c'est que les unions consanguines sont généralement extrêmement avantageuses pour ceux qui les pratiquent.
Between the speed and the elisions, you might think that you need subtitles in real life, but listen, I'm serious.
You might find them useful, very certainly when you're in the sort of the beginning and intermediate phase. I mean, subtitles in French in particular are handy because subtitles that are in your target language as you're listening to your target language give you the advantage of helping to improve the linkage in your head between how things are spelt and what they sound like.
Now, you can definitely learn French if you want to. Don't let this put you off. It wouldn't be so crazy popular if it was impossible to learn. And if I could do it with my intellect, well, so could you. And I've made my share of incredibly embarrassing mistakes in French. Quite a lot of them, actually. And guess what? I'm still here. It didn't matter. Now, before we get to the speed freak language number 2, I'm going to throw in 2 honourable mentions that I think deserve to be here. Basque and Catalan can both be very fast. At
Catalan also is
per second each.
Full of elisions.
And if you're keen on investigating even further, well, there are 800 languages in Papua New Guinea that no one has even tested yet. Okay, now I think you are ready for this fascinating nugget of truth. We've been talking about speed all this time, but in actual fact, all languages share the same amount of information in any given minute. That's right, the University of Hong Kong measured this with a whole bunch of languages, and guess what? Regardless of how fast we speak or what our hands are doing, our brains process information at the same rate, at 39 bits per second. Yeah, bits, just just go with it. All I know is that is twice the speed of Morse code.
Se pone por delante Silva, viene con leve, llega la redención, la anda Seneca que buena buscando el lince, pero no consigue la equilibrio perfecto, llega Anfibios en forma de gigante, clip para Sindra.
Speeding into second place at 7.82 syllables per second is a language that does not mess around. It's fast, passionate, and always moving. Native speakers are known for not holding back when the
Let me say, I wasn't even listening.
Speeding into second place at 7.82 syllables per second is a language that does not mess around. It's fast, passionate, and always moving. Native speakers are known for per second. Yeah, bits. Just go with it. All I know is that
too busy with the chess, I didn't actually hear the speaking.
It's twice the speed of Morse code.
Se pone por delante Silva, viene con leve, llega la redención, la anda Seneca que buena buscando el lince, pero no consigue la equilibrio perfecto, llega Anfibios en forma de gigante, clip para Sindra.
Speeding into second place at 7.82 syllables per second is a language that does not mess around.
It's funny that the Spanish flag is always used to signify Spanish when most Spanish speakers don't live there.
Fast, passionate, and always moving. Native speakers are known for not holding back.
A universal Spanish flag.
It's the perfect example of a machine gun rhythmed language. It is Spanish, of course.
Well, you have to be a bit careful with that, because Spanish has a different rhythm depending on where you are. You have definitely sort of a machine gun rhythm in some places, and less of one in other places. I mean, and like you have like variations. Like in Chilean, there's pitch accent. Not a whole lot, not as much as Japanese, but it's there. And then you have like much more sort of flat tonality. You have like you have Bolivian, which to me is like Spanish for people who are like hard of hearing, because Bolivians tend to speak very slowly and deliberately and clearly. I always you have to like slow down to listen to Bolivian if you're used to Chilean. And then, you know, Colombian, which tends to be very even. Same with Peruvian, really.
For Spanish, you were expecting him, weren't you? Oh, did you think it would be number one? Sorry, that's coming up in a second. Fun fact, Spanish is spoken 25% faster than English on average, but what if I told you that you're not actually getting
17
more
points of
information
material.
at that speed? Hold that thought.
Pueden reconocer esa iglesia atrás de nosotros, saben perfectamente dónde estamos, en este lugar que ha sido catalogado en varias ocasiones como la ciudad más bonita del mundo, uno de los destinos turísticos más visitados de nuestro país. ¿Y por qué estamos aquí?
Meanwhile, this could be your Spanish teacher if you can handle her.
¿Sabías que el inglés medieval mola muchísimo?
Oh, Linguriosa! Yeah, we've looked at her stuff on here. She has very interesting videos. Very well. Let me just drop that link. I mean, the name, Linguriosa. She does videos in Spanish about, like, interesting language stuff.
Dice que es una lengua muy simple porque no tiene ni género, ni casos, las formas verbales son prácticamente iguales en todas las personas.
Yikes, well, we are getting to the good stuff here about why fast or slow doesn't even matter, and it's mostly in our heads. Now, check this out. The word estrada has lots of fast syllables in it. 3, right? Estrada, because the impression of being really fast. And street has just 1 syllable in it. So even though street is actually a much shorter word, our brain hears the fast syllables of estrada, all those sounds coming close together, and decides that Spanish is faster, even though it has 3 more syllables, 3 syllables instead of 1. Words in Spanish have a lot more vowels and syllables than English. Plus, the Spanish syllables, all of the sounds of Spanish are shorter, like that machine gun sound, so you can say them more quickly.
This means that to say the same sentence, you have to use way more syllables.
Although, I mean, that's another thing. The syllable length varies. There are Spanish variations that have where the syllable length tends to be quite even. There are others where you have more variation in it, where it starts to sound a bit more like Italian. And again, the southern cone is where you find that. Chilean, Argentine, there's more syllable length variation.
Syllables and way more vowels in Spanish. This is an example sentence to show how many syllables Spanish words have. And then in Spanish it would be, esta es una oración de ejemplo para mostrar cuántas sílabas tienen las palabras en español.
Speedy Gonzales himself could race through sentences, firing syllables quicker than a jackrabbit just to say the same
Well, I mean,
thing.
yeah, so that is also assisted by the fact that, please let me, that was like kind of a racist-ass caricature where all he ever said was like, ándale, arriba, epa.
Maybe if you just pick up enough Spanish words.
Bueno, pues sí, es bien estricta y todo el tiempo yo estudiaba y me despertaba todos los días así en la madrugada para ir a la escuela y ser la primera. O sea, literalmente llegaba a abrir la...
Sound manic? Well, everything she just said was basic everyday words. Once you know enough words, your brain will keep up, I promise. And this is why I always recommend that you listen to the language that you're learning every day. Listening is so important as a skill because you need to tune your ear into the sound. Believe me, you'll soon realize that no language is on a sugar high. Mind you, I can't speak for language number one.
That is okay. Let me just say, this is not normal speeded Japanese. This is somebody speaking extremely fast Japanese.
And the winner is, well, it's a language where precision is highly valued in many aspects of the culture, coming in at 7.84 syllables per second. Damn fast. Japanese is the fastest spoken language in the world. So what's different with Japanese? Well, the beauty of Japanese is...
But that, let me just say, that was fast by Japanese standards. Like, normal speed Japanese... I would say is probably 75% of that.
Efficiently, it uses its sounds. Japanese has simple syllables, one consonant followed by a vowel. This makes it sound very smooth and predictable and super easy to glide quickly.
Although the vowels can be short and long.
No need to pause or slow down for effect.
Yeah,
this is more normal speed Japanese here. Oh, is this? Oh, this is the game that, like, I think this is the game that that Casey Explosion plays a lot, where you're like doing long haul trucking and stuff. Apparently this one in Germany, judging by the fact that the turn off is labeled Ausfahrt.
Yeah,
like that is normal
what really
speed
sets
Japanese
apart is how much meaning they can pack into just a few words. See, Japanese as a language relies so heavily on context and what's going on around you.
Yeah.
They often don't need...
Yeah, and it relies heavily on implication. Like in Japanese, a lot of the time, the subject can be left out, the object can be left out, all sorts of things that we have to state explicitly, say in English, can be implied in Japanese. Sí, yo también.
Many words to get their point across. So Japanese sounds fast not only because of syllable speed, but because speakers leave out details that listeners get. There's no need to over-explain. Very efficient, right?
毛嫌いされる一つの原因が断定です。断定は時には力強いメッセージにもなりうるんですけど。
Oh, and if you're learning Japanese,
yeah, I mean see that again. Definitely a more normal speeded example of Japanese than that first one. That first one was hyper fast Japanese. Don't be intimidated by that first one. Japanese people mostly do not speak at that speed.
Here's a little win for you. See, Japanese has far fewer distinct syllables than English. About one Japanese syllable for every 11 in English. But the crazy thing is, you're still getting the same amount of information. It's back to this whole thing of speed versus density. You can say a lot of sounds really fast, but that doesn't mean you're actually giving much information. Speed, density, they're not the same thing. But hey, we've already covered how that works, so let's just celebrate our winner. Or is it the winner? What if I told you that there's an ace up my sleeve that makes all the rest just feel like baby
Wait, there's
talk?
another one? Okay, I thought that was number one.
What's your name?
The Khoisan languages spoken in Western South Africa, Northwestern South Africa, Namibia, and Botswana. They also have the most clicks of any language, like some of the most phonetically diverse languages on the planet that we know of.
It is too fast for most people to even process because your ears have to already know the difference between 80 clicking sounds.
And then there's like
the one
tonal stuff.
And it isn't just a fast language, it's in a league of its own.
Yeah, is the one that it is of the Khoisan languages, the one with the most diverse phonetic inventory. It has way more sounds, way more phonemes than any language known to linguistics.
It doesn't beat Japanese in terms of syllables per second, but Ta has over 80 different clicks, 164 consonants and 20 vowels, and each syllable is packed with so much meaning. It sounds like a language in hyperdrive. Here is a fun clue sheet. I dare you to try reading this sentence out loud. Now that you know that faster doesn't...
Okay. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can do this. So, first of all, dental, and O is not O, it's a glottal stop. Sorry. Extra nasal sound for context. Okay. Ani. Hua. Hoi. I'm sure that was wrong, but I thought I'd give it a go. If they're gonna explain all of the letters that are added specifically to deal with clicking and stuff like that, that I would give it a go. I'm sure I pronounced that very badly.
I mean harder. Would you like to know how long it really takes to learn these languages? Well, check out our next video about the FSI, the Foreign Service Institute chart. It is your ultimate guide to learning times for each language.
That is an overrated guide, because the trouble is they will say that it takes a certain amount of time to reach a certain level, the same level in these various languages as a native English speaker. It doesn't really give you an idea what that level is. And the number of weeks, the number of hours and stuff like that, it's going to depend very heavily on what it is you're doing. So, you know, sort of a nice sort of vague guideline, but I wouldn't put too much stock in it.
Maybe not Ta, though.
For one thing, because I'm just not impressed with the Foreign Service Institute's language courses. The ones I've seen, the books are not great.
الصح في الحسابات. تعالوا نخش على أول تمرين هنتمرن عليه سوا عشان كده.
Okay. Arabic. This is Learn Arabic with Maha, who is very good for what I call priming. It isn't really, what she does isn't really Arabic comprehensible input. But she does give you, like, words, introduces you to words that you will hear in comprehensible input. Helps you notice it. MCR. Depende. ¿Qué es el MCR? El marco común europeo. Bueno, yo no le banco mucho a exámenes y weas así. Pero en cuanto a como un marco descriptivo para explicar qué contenido, cuál es la naturaleza de los distintos niveles, en ese sentido es bastante útil. Bueno, los exámenes, son exámenes, son pruebas. Las pruebas estandarizadas no sirven realmente, pero en cuanto a un marco descriptivo, yo lo encuentro súper útil.
How are you? Today I'm going to teach you the top 20 slang Arabic words to help you fit in.
And this is, she speaks specifically Palestinian Arabic.
Before we start with the lesson, I want to invite you to like my Facebook page at Learn Arabic with Maha, one word only, and follow me on Instagram at Maha Yaqub for daily Arabic content coming your way on a daily basis. And also I want to make sure that you know about my Arabic courses online. Yay. I've been holding them since February. I have beginner courses, I have advanced courses, I have MSA and Palestinian dialect courses. Anything you need to know about my online Arabic courses, or how to join, or how to be part of this beautiful, wonderful Arabic learner community, there's a link that leads you to the website with all the information. If you can't join the live classes, there are pre-recorded lessons for you, like real whole online course, but you can watch it offline on the time that you prefer. Without further ado, let's get on with the lesson. أكيد. أكيد means for sure.
أكيد. Yeah, you hear this one a lot. Yeah, I mean, this is all over the place. Akid shows up. I mean, one thing when you actually sort of do this kind of priming is you sort of notice, you really start to notice the words that you've been told to look out for. And so I hear Akid all over the place, but that also means like people are using it all the time.
It's very much used everywhere when you want to make sure or emphasize something. Akid. Are you coming to visit us? Akid. Are you going to teach this lesson? Akid. Akid. Pretty easy. Use it when you want to make sure you want to answer positively something and you want to say, of course. Yeah? Akid. Another word that sounds like akid, like, I mean, it has a similar meaning to akid, it's طبعا.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't sound like طبعا. And when you see that at the end of a word, which is denoted with those two diagonal lines over the alif, or sometimes over the consonant that comes before the alif. That can mean a number of things, but it tends to indicate that it's an adverb. So, طبعا. I can't quite do the ayn quite right. I get it sometimes, but you have to get used to the... You have to get used to that, to actually pronouncing something that far down in your throat. And those muscles are not entirely trained for me.
طبعا it means also of course and for sure. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's a synonym for أكيد. But I once...
Oh, wait! I just realized this. Okay, in Turkish, one way you say of course, there are a number of ways of saying of course, but you can say tabii. Tabii. And that is the adjective form of طبعا.
Watched an interview of one of the artists that I really love a lot, Palestinian artist, and he would use this word طبعا everywhere, just like wallah, like the for the American student.
Yeah.
Exactly, he would say طبعا.
People seem to use akid a bit like that sometimes. And the other one that people use a lot, and it's very useful to have in Arabic, because this is a thing that's very good to do in target languages in general, because every language has its own way of stalling as your brain is getting caught up to your mouth. When you're trying to make sure you actually know what you're going to say next. And in Arabic, one of the big ones is yani, which means like that means, or which means, but people use it like we in English say like.
Didn't mean of course. Like he wasn't saying, of course I made this song and of course it's going to go out and to be published, of course. But he wasn't saying of course, but between one
thank you for the
and the
night.
other he would put طبعا. I wondered why is that. For sure it's apparently, or طبعا, it's because we use this word a lot and it lost the original meaning, which is to say okay, and it's weird. We don't use it this way. That particular artist used it a lot, just like saying wallah, just like I explained to you, wallah, to calculate your
wallah is often used to say like for real. Sí, son bastante razonables, es un buen marco de orientación. Los exámenes, no sé. Los exámenes son exámenes. No sirven realmente para saber si alguien domina o no un idioma. Pero las descripciones sí.
He used طبعا instead, but طبعا is not used that much. So he as an Arab used it wrong. It's of course a dialect, with dialect you can improvise and you can use the words the way you want. And these are connectors, these are slang words, again, that we use to build up our sentences and our conversation and to feel like an Arab or how an Arab would speak. By the way, these slang words are mostly used in the spoken Arabic, of course, so they are not words slang, they are slang, they're not MSA. And I'm giving you the slang words of mainly the Shami or the Palestinian dialect.
Yeah, Shami is another way of saying, is the Arabic word for Levantine, which includes like Palestine, Lebanon, I think Jordan's in there.
We really use the word that we mostly use on a daily basis, we Palestinians. Yeah? Next we have ya haram. Ya haram. Whatever something wrong happens to somebody, he failed an exam, ya haram. It means pity or poor thing. Yeah? We use it a lot. I use it a lot. I'll tell you.
Okay. I wonder, okay, so because haram is also the opposite of halal. And now I'm wondering, is it literally like saying, oh, it's a sin? Like in Spanish and in Italian, say, oh, que pecado. Que pecado. And it means, oh, that's such a pity, that's awful. I wonder if that's where ya haram is coming from.
In what situation later on. So ya haram, something wrong happened and you feel sorry for something or somebody, you say ya haram, he failed an exam. Ya haram, miskin. Miskin means poor, literally. But ya haram is the slang word or the expression that we say in that particular situation or situations of this kind. He had an accident. Ya haram, is he okay? There's a cat crossing the street and is in danger. Ya haram, ya haram. Yeah? Ya haram. Haram is used, so in short, it's used in in situations of feeling sorry for something or feeling pity. Yeah? The problem with me, your teacher, is that I use the word ya haram even to convey beautiful things. Everybody makes fun of me for that. I went to visit my friend who just had a baby. I looked at the baby and I said, ya haram.
Free queen and a free bishop.
Match. Why are you saying
I'm
ya
up
haram?
22 points of material.
Like you're looking at a newborn baby. I didn't mean ya haram, oh, feel sorry for him. But it's like a way, also for me and many others, I don't know if it's only me, to convey beautiful feelings of, oh, how cute or how little or he's
interesting,
so, fragile, and that's why I use ya haram. That's the situation where I use ya haram, and I think some of the other people might use it like this, but I doubt.
Free rook,
that's
thank you.
Because
you got to complete the set.
My friends and family members make fun of me for the wrong usage of the word haram. So you don't use it like me. If you hear it from somebody else, let me know so I'm not alone in the world. Ya haram, something's wrong, somebody is in danger, somebody failed an exam, you say ya haram, poor him, I feel sorry for him. Not for something positive like your teacher wrongly uses. Yalla, let's go to the next one. Oh, we have the next one, yimkin. Yimkin, it means maybe. Yimkin literally...
Yeah, yimkin can be used, you can put that in sentences too, like yimkin an that, and it means it is possible that.
It means it's possible, but we use it to say maybe, yeah? Not literally, and it loses the literal meaning. يمكن أروح على تايلاند هاي الصيفية. I might,
okay.
Yeah, or maybe أنا أروح, I will go to Thailand this summer. هاي الصيفية or هذا الصيف. يمكن راح تعلمينا الplurals. Will you teach us plurals? يمكن. I can say يمكن. It has a lot of meaning.
Yeah, I mean that's one that is up there with ربما for words that you hear a lot if you watch like the news in Arabic. You're always here. If they're talking about a developing situation, if somebody's analyzing something, you get a lot of yumkin.
No, you just one word, just answer yumkin. Maybe, it might be possible. That's the next word, yumkin. Next we have tikram. Tikram, I taught you it.
Yeah, tikram. Oh, from the same root as like karim.
Really in depth, just like inshallah. In one of the lessons that I will list also here below, super beautiful and interesting expression lessons for you guys. So watch them, they will help strengthen your knowledge of Arabic, and you will fit in using these words and expressions mainly, especially in the spoken dialect. If you go to these countries or you want to be understood by an Arab, these are the most important things. Forget grammar. Use expressions, daily expressions.
Yeah.
So anyways, going back to tikram. Tikram literally is It comes from karim, which means generous. Tikram is a verb. You tikram, you become karim. Yeah, so you are karim. Something.
Oh, yeah, okay, so it does come from karim. See, that's the thing about Semitic languages. You have these consonants, and everything gets kind of built around those. And so you'll have like kaf, ra, mim, and the vowels that go around them kind of determine what you're looking at, what sort of form it's being used in.
Generous, or you'll become generous. What does this mean? Do we use, like when I say tikram, I mean you will be generous? No, it means you're welcome. Yeah? If you ask me for a favor and you say thank you, I don't tell you you're welcome. I say you are generous, so you deserve this favor from me. So whatever I did, it's because you are generous and you deserve it. So I say you're welcome by using tikram, which means you are generous. Did you understand? So the logical explanation behind it is like this. You say shukran, and I don't tell you afwan, you're welcome. I tell you tikram, tikram.
Ooh, thank you. I get a queen.
Another time or one
tikram.
Times. Why? Because you are karim. You are karim and you deserve my karam also, my generosity of helping you out. So tikram is very much used. Bsharafak. Bsharafak is usually used as a question. Bsharafak,
I could win a rook, but...
It means really, but what does it really mean? Yeah.
Like damn it. How did I do it? Okay, that was...
It means with. Sharaf is honor. Ek, at the ending, it's your honor. So, bisharafak, with your honor, literally we are like trying to imagine, are you swearing by your honor? So swear by your honor, like swear by God. That's what we mean when you want to say, really? Bisharafak? Bisharafak. So, you said something that for me sounds not real, yeah? I would say, bisharafak? Or يعني really? We have a word for really, by the way, عن جد. Maybe I'll list it down below. But بشرفك is more beautiful, like يعني really, you are honorably saying this thing, بشرفك, yeah? بشرفك, so it's a
like on your honor?
Really, are you serious? Or it's also a request, yeah? When you have a request, and you're trying like to beg somebody to do it, بشرفك, بشرفك, help me out with this exam. Bsharafak. Again, you are requesting something, almost begging. Bsharafak. It's like saying wahyatak, but wahyatak is something else. It's another word. It means the same thing, but it means with your life. So don't swear by your life, but swear by your sharaf, your honor. Please help me. So when you have a question saying really, or when you have a request almost begging somebody bsharafak. Bsharafak is not only bsharafak, it's bsharafek, you female, and bsharafko, all of you. Help me, all of you bsharafko. Yeah? So this is bsharafak. This is another slang word that will help you get along with Arabs and feel like an Arab and become slowly an Arabic speaker. Next one is basita.
Yeah, I mean, and what she said about expressions mattering more than grammar in that sense, very true. I mean, and not just with Arabic, with lots of languages, because we have also, in whatever language you're speaking, there are all sorts of just like set phrases that everybody says and that don't make real sense when you sit down and actually think about the words that you're using, but everybody says them anyway.
بسيطة يا عمي بسيطة بسيطة literally it means it is بسيط. بسيط means simple. It's simple. What
that is another word that Turkish has.
بسيطة بسيطة.
We want to say something silly. Çok basit.
It's simple. It's nothing. Nothing happened. So you do somebody wrong. You hit him in the street, or you bump by him, or you I don't know. You drop something that doesn't belong to you. The other person, instead of saying don't worry, literally لا تقلق, which is boring and MSA, it's not spoken Arabic, he can say this slang word or this expression بسيطة بسيطة, nothing happened, ولا إشي. Sometimes, you know, we add more expressions to the expression. So بسيطة is your expression when somebody makes something wrong and you want to tell him don't worry حبيبي بسيطة, nothing happened, روح روح بسيطة. Note that بسيطة, it's feminine, yeah? بسيطة. Why isn't it بسيط? It's بسيطة because هاي الشغلة, this thing, شغلة is thing, which is feminine, is basita. So we are omitting the word this thing is simple, nothing happened. We're omitting shaghli, which is feminine. We're just using the adjective to it, which became used by all Arabs or Palestinian Arabs or like Shami speakers as basita. It's a very beautiful way to tell somebody, do not worry. Basita, you have an exam, basita, راح تنجح, you will succeed. Basita, we have a pandemic going on, basita, بتمرق.
If only it were basita.
كل شيء بصير أحسن, everything becomes better. basita, it will be behind us.
It's very far from fucking
Another word that I
basita.
love a lot, and I use it with my daughter, crazy, yeah, but yes, I use the word ya zalami. Zalami, you hear it in every street, Arab speaking street, especially Palestinian. Ya zalami. Zalami means man.
Zalame.
Yeah, when you say hey man, hey dude, hey bro, hey fratello in Italian, it means man. Zalami is the spoken word for rajul. Rajul is man in the standard Arabic. Zalami is the feminine. It's feminine, by the way, weird. Is the spoken Arabic or the Shami Palestinian.
And strangely enough, that sounds a lot like the word for like oppression as well.
خلاص enough يا زلمة. خلاص يا زلمة. Yeah, enough. Somebody's been nagging or insisting. خلاص يا زلمة. It's like, it's nice. It's like, hey man, enough man. يعني خلاص, similar. No problem. No need to explain it. It's exactly like saying hey man or man in English. We use it a lot in the street. And why do I use it with my daughter? It's weird. There's something in this lesson is going to become too long, but there's something in the Palestinian dialect, in Arabic in general, that we tend to address females as males with male adjectives and males with female adjectives. I will explain it better in a better lesson. I'll show you the real examples. There are many songs, by the way, that might confuse a lot of my students. They tell me, but why is a male singer singing to a male singer? يعني he say, I love you, male. Why is that? Not because he's gay, but because something about, he might be gay, yeah? No problem, لا مشكلة. But there's something about, addressing your female beloved or children as males. Yeah, so for me, my daughter, she's a girl, I tell her, hey, تعالي يا زلمة. Even with the verb,
interesting.
تعال, not تعالي. Come you male, you man. Come here, man. Okay, I'll explain it in a better lesson if you are interested. Write me below if you're interested, and I will see. If there are many comments or requests about this phenomenon of using the opposite sex when addressing people in the Arabic spoken language, let me know. Write me, I will see if there's enough. I'll make
I'm actually quite curious
so,
about that.
Is one of these words, slang words. Next we have min shufak. Min shufak literally means
شوف. Yeah. Min shufak. Shuf is the root for like seeing, and ek
we
min shufak.
شوف في أك you. من شوفك, we see you. Literally, we see you. من شوفك, we see you. What does it mean? It means bye. Yeah? Why does من شوفك, we see you literally means bye? Because it's a slang word. Yeah, it's, instead of saying مع السلامة, يلا bye, إلى اللقاء, من شوفك, we see you. If you're
Sounds
a male,
vaguely like hanshufak.
If you're a female, من شوفك, we just change the object pronoun. And if you are a lot of people and we say see you, we say من شوفكو. So من شوفك, من شوفك, من شوفكو is another slang way to say يلا bye. Hi friends, welcome to this new art.
Okay. Let's see who else we've got. Okay, natural language. Sí, conecto 17 canales en orden aprendí alemán. Eso debería ser interesante. Vamos a ver.
Aquí están los 17
There's Álvaro Era of Natural Languages. Another person, very sound ideas about language learning. And he does like interviews a lot of the time in Spanish and in English, talking about language acquisition and stuff. Good stuff, worth checking out. I've been wanting to look at this one for a bit.
que yo he utilizado para aprender alemán desde cero absoluto hasta ser capaz de entender recursos nativos.
No, en árabe no, eso no me sirve. Vamos a ponerle subtítulos en inglés para quien no entiende el castellano.
Podcasts, documentales, conversaciones, etc. Y en otro vídeo hablaremos de la parte de comunicarse, ¿vale? Y además, durante este vídeo hablaré del tiempo que me ha llevado en cada momento y os daré otros 6 canales más de bonus al final que yo he utilizado de forma más esporádica, pero que también creo que son interesantes. Vamos.
Vamos a tener que ver cómo voy a convertir en...
We Love Deutsch. Aquí Catherine.
We Love Deutsch. Okay, Katrin Schechtmann. Schechtmann. Klingt
Es una
jüdisch.
profesora de alemán.
Piet die Katze liebt seine Schuhe. Die Kühe des Kaninchens. Das Kaninchen hat also Kühe. Okay.
Tiene muchos vídeos en su canal en los que crea historias para sus alumnos, historias, cuentos.
O sea, ok, entonces nos encontramos con un método que se llama TPRS, Teaching Proficiency Through Reading and Storytelling. Y la idea es un método súper eficaz para, para quien cuenta con un profe que sabe aplicarlo. Pero la idea es que, el profe o la profe va inventando una historia, va contando alguna wea, no importa qué, pero con harto apoyo visual para que el alumnado pueda entender también sin preguntar, sin ver el diccionario, sin traducciones, los términos principales de qué se trata. Y luego, a ritmo en que se va contando la historia, los alumnos también participan agregando alguna weá, y muchas veces estas historias, estos cuentos se convierten en pura locura y todo el mundo se entusiasma y todo el mundo está muy pero muy concentrado en la trama de esta historia de locura que se va inventando, y es súper útil. Ok, así que está ocupando ese método. Katrin Schechtmann.
Leyendas tradicionales alemanas y de otros países, pero que lo hace de tal forma de que sea comprensible incluso para personas que empiezan de cero absoluto, como yo empezaba en ese momento, a través de muchas imágenes, mucho contexto, gestos, etc. Este es el número 1, el que empezó desde cero, como decía, y tiene un montón
Das
de
sollte
vídeos.
vieles einfacher machen,
Vemos
sagt
aquí
er.
130 vídeos
Stimmt, für mich.
con muchas historias
Durchaus.
divertidas, entretenidas, y que además, como decía, podréis entender aunque empecéis desde cero absoluto.
Pero el problema
Número
sigue
2,
siendo
Natürlich German.
este arrinconamiento del
Nuevamente,
rey.
otro recurso maravilloso. Y en este, además, ella los tiene
En este
divididos
caso,
por niveles.
aunque
Entonces,
no
vídeos
rechazo
culturales,
normalmente,
historias, mitología, muchos tipos de vídeos diferentes, pero como decía, ordenados por niveles. ¿Sí? Entonces puedes incluso empezar desde principiante absoluto, ¿m? Pero tienes vídeos para
mira,
principiantes,
eso,
nivel intermedio, después nivel avanzado. ¿Sí? O sea, en este caso yo lo utilicé como el segundo canal, el segundo recurso, pero lo puedes seguir utilizando más adelante porque tiene vídeos más avanzados también. Pero después del primer canal, este es el que yo recomiendo totalmente. Además, ella es muy divertida, lo hace muy bien, totalmente recomendable. Vamos ahora con los canales 3 y 4, que los meto en el mismo paquete.
Deutsch lernen durch Hören. Nicht schlecht. O sea, se trata de, videos que se enfocan mucho en el audio. Es importante el oír, el escuchar, una cosa que, hay que desarrollar para poder ir avanzando hacia, materiales pensados para gente nativa. Ciao, Oliver.
Porque son similares. Y son dos canales.
Schlimmste Begegnung in der Bahn. Jessica als Schriftstellerin. Verschwunden. Interessant. Interessante Titel, jedenfalls. Keine Ahnung.
Primero.
Dirk als Metzger, das könnte ja grausig sein.
Deutsch lernen die hören. Puedes escuchar historias, conversaciones, etc. a la vez que lees el texto.
Ah, und ich sehe hier, veo aquí que dice Niveau A2, B1, o sea, nivel A2, B1. Eso también es muy útil para... bueno, no hay que fijarse tanto en esas recomendaciones, voy a decir, porque muchas veces es útil ver y escuchar materiales que son, bueno, que se mueven por encima del nivel de uno, pero también es útil como, bueno, como orientación saber que, bueno, que un video o algo así está pensado para alguien de ese nivel.
Sí, como podemos ver aquí, por ejemplo. Entonces, primero, como decía, son historias, cuentos, conversaciones que son interesantes, pero al tener el texto también, creo que es un buen primer contacto con la lectura en alemán. Además, al ser historias, historias sencillas, lo puedes entender. Si además hablas inglés, seguramente te va a ayudar un poco en la parte escrita, pero en cualquier caso me parece un recurso muy interesante. Además tienen un montón de vídeos, como podéis ver, diferentes niveles, pero es un recurso muy interesante. Sí.
Die Musik ist zu laut.
Que, por supuesto, en estos canales que comento que tienen vídeos de diferentes niveles.
Y voy a suponer, vamos a ver, los enlaces. Sí, tiene todos los enlaces de estos canales que está mencionando en la descripción. O sea, bueno, así que para quien quiera aprender alemán desde cero con estos canales, bueno, que vaya a este video, que haga clic en el link, en el enlace, y va a ver todos los enlaces de los canales que aquí está comentando.
La clave consiste en buscar esos recursos que puedes entender el mensaje general, pero que te fuerzan un poquillo a tener que entender un poco más, ¿no? Para que sigas aprendiendo. Es decir, que no sean historias muy sencillas que ya puedes entender perfectamente, pero tampoco demasiado complejas y no entiendas nada de lo que está pasando. No entiendas el mensaje general, ¿no? Esa es la idea.
Sí.
Y entonces, en este caso...
Sí, no se trata... siempre hay que tenerlo en cuenta, que no se trata de entender cada palabra que se diga, sino que se trata de entender más o menos lo que están diciendo. Y bueno, y luego se puede ir avanzando desde allá. Habe ich schon. Und ein Bauer.
Que comentaba el número 1 y número 2, Learn German, de este canal. Por supuesto, dejaré todos los enlaces en la descripción.
Kostenlose Online-Deutschkurse für Anfänger und Fortgeschrittene. Okay.
Sí. Y en este tienen también otro tipo de vídeos diferentes, como las noticias en alemán, que si os interesa también puede ser interesante. Aunque no sé en qué nivel están porque no las he consumido yo. También tienen partes de gramática que a mí particularmente no me gustan o que no los he consumido, pero aquí en esta lista, por ejemplo, tienen un montón de vídeos, 46 vídeos.
Ja, das ist eher so grammatikorientiert. Okay, Reflexivpronomen im Dativ. Spannend. Zertifikat Deutsch, A2, Teil Hörverstehen, also Prüfungsvorbereitung und so weiter. Da kann man für ja, also halt die Prüfungen des Goethe-Instituts halt ein bisschen pauken, also ganz so testorientiert halt.
Nuevamente el mismo estilo, historias, conversaciones.
Es complejo porque estoy viendo alemán aquí en la pantalla y él está hablando en castellano y yo voy cambiando de un idioma para otro cada 5 segundos.
Diálogos que puedes escuchar y leer al mismo tiempo. ¿Sí? Entonces estos son los dos canales que recomiendo en este sentido. Continuamos ahora con los canales 5 y 6, que nuevamente los agrupo porque son dos canales similares, del mismo estilo.
A ver.
Pero
Deutsch verstehen. Paul hat Stress mit Jungs aus Frankfurt. Tiene problemas con jóvenes de Frankfurt. ¿Por qué? ¿Son banqueros o qué? Paul wird in die Karibik entführt. A Paul lo secuestran y se lo llevan al Caribe. Chucha la vida que lleva Paul. Mia muss lange ins Gefängnis. Mia tiene que irse por mucho tiempo a la cana. Mia muss zu einer Psychologin gehen. Mia tiene que irse a la psicóloga. Y luego tiene que irse a la cana, weón. Chucha la vida que llevan estos weones. Bueno, pero eso es útil. Son cuentos, me imagino, bastante fáciles para quien está intentando aprender alemán. Y con trama que tienen algo, tramas interesantes. Son tramas, no son esas weá que vi en el colegio, con trama donde, Rudi geht in den Supermarkt. Wird dort Eier kaufen und ein bisschen Rasierwachs für seine Eier auch. Y todas esas weas que son super fome. Estos cuentitos parecen en todo caso interesantes, ¿no?
Básicamente son también historias animadas, como estilo cómic en vídeo, podríamos decir.
De hecho,
pero
yo podría
muy interesantes con
hacer
los
materiales así.
Diálogos aquí los bocadillos, como podéis ver, ¿no? Como decía, como si fuera un cómic animado, ¿no? Y están adaptados para personas que aprenden alemán, sí. Pero, no sé, están muy bien hechos, tienen su parte de humor también, aunque parezcan sencillos. A mí me encantan. Y de hecho los continúo viendo hasta ahora, a pesar de poder comprender recursos más complejos, porque realmente me gustan. Y los recomiendo encarecidamente.
Sí, lo entiendo.
Siempre.
Porque, los temas, las tramas parecen interesantes en todo caso.
Se trata de buscar aquellos que te gusten más, que puedas comprender, como decía antes, ¿no? Pero yo os hablaré de los que a mí me han ayudado, pero para que os hagáis una idea, ¿no? Y aquí tenemos Deutsch Verstehen, el primero, que como veis nuevamente tiene un montón de vídeos para disfrutar, muy interesantes, como decía. Y el número 2 de este grupo, el número 6 en total, Like Germans, lo mismo.
Like Germans. Lisa macht Döner im Gefängnis. O sea, Lisa está haciendo kebab en la cana, weón. Lisa wird vom Gesundheitsamt verhaftet. ¿Por qué desde cuándo el Senasa puede detener personas, weón? Lisa arbeitet danach als Dönerfrau. Entiendo. Estoy, en lo cronológico sería en otro orden. No es que está, primero haciendo döner, haciendo kebab en la cana y luego la detiene el Senasa y después anda vendiendo kebab al público, sino que primero vende kebab al público, luego se la lleva el Senasa Y sigue haciendo que va poco saludable en la cana. Así tiene sentido la weá. Yeah, Like Germans. Así se llama el canal. Y tengo que decir que me parece interesante. Okay, so it is time for me to wrap up. Sorry about the delay today. Cats and apples were calling my name. It is time for me to go and see about eating things. I will be back tomorrow at the normal time, 4:30 p.m. on Twitch. And perhaps we'll continue watching this. I'm liking this. This is interesting. It's giving me ideas as well. Bueno, es un video bastante largo. Bueno, faltan para terminar este video, faltan todavía 15 minutos. O sea, son 17 canales. A lo mejor también estos canales los va a mencionar. Have a good day. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.